Have you ever been frustrated? Of course you have. You're an entrepreneur. But have you ever been frustrated that you look across the street, across the country at a peer, a fellow entrepreneur who you're competing with, and he doesn't deliver as good of experience as you do, but he is having tremendous, tremendous success? What's the difference? People know who he is or she is. Well, if you ever wondered how you could launch your awareness campaign and differentiate yourself from the rest of the marketplace, I've got a fellow entrepreneur who is going to help you do it. I'm John Bowen at aesnation.com. Stay tuned. You do not want to miss this.
Ordinary success? No way. You want amazing, remarkable, exceptional breakthroughs. Dig deep, think bold, drive hard, watch yourself soar beyond your dreams. aesnation.com.
Clint Arthur. I am so excited to have you here today. Good friend. We're in a couple mastermind groups together, and you are making a difference in a lot of fellow entrepreneurs' life. And you're doing it for yourself too. I always love entrepreneurs who are walking their talk. But first of all, thank you for joining us and being willing to share your insights with the AES Nation audience.
It's exciting for me to bring this message to your outstanding people.
Well, it is. It's so funny. Clint, you and I have had the opportunity to learn kind of the difference of what's working, what's not, through rolling up our sleeves a lot. And what I'd like to do before we go into, because I'm going to give a little tease here. Clint is going to show you how you can become a celebrity. I always think of it that in today's world, we need two parts. One is an authority. You have to be an expert, whatever you do, whether you're selling widgets and Clint's going to show us he's selling butter, and he is the world-renowned expert on butter, okay? And he's going to show you how you did it. He's going to also, though, so you have to be the expert first, but that's no good anymore in today's world. The average successful individual is bombarded with, depending on what study you see, is 4,000 marketing messages to 10,000 every single day. So you've got to stand out in this crowd of all this selection. And what Clint's brilliant at is showing you how you can do that. So Clint, what I want to do though, before we go into that little setup I had here, I want you to tell your background. Because you didn't wake up one day with that celebrity launch pad sign behind you and on TV and all the time and all these shows across country and everything. Give me a little background in the audience, a little background of, how'd you get to where you are today?
All right, let's go all the way back. When I was 14 years old, I was reading a novel about a fabulous international businessman, and it said in the book that he went to something called the Wharton Business School. I climbed up to the top shelf of my bookcase, pulled out the encyclopedia with the W on it, flipped it open, and sure enough, there was something in there called the Wharton Business School. This is where the top titans of industry would send their children to be educated in business. And right then, when I was 14, I made up my mind that I was going to go to this Wharton Business School. I actually did. And let's fast forward. First day of freshman year, Economics 101, they're talking about guns and butter. It's classic. It's either the money goes to the guns or the money goes
I was in that same lecture too.
We all were. That's the choice. And I didn't realize that was just figuratively speaking. I thought you either sold guns or butter. So fast forward, and here I am. So when I was driving a taxi, okay. So let's go back a little bit. While I'm at Wharton, I was very influenced by a couple of teachers. One of them was my high school creative writing teacher, Frank McCourt. He wrote Angela's Ashes, which won the Pulitzer Prize. Mm-hmm. Then I had another teacher at Wharton. His name was Donald Trump. He was a fellow alumni. He taught me through his books, The Art of the Deal, etc. And these great writers inspired me to want to become a writer. And then I hit a little speed bump and I saw a movie called She's Gotta Have It by Spike Lee. And Spike Lee wrote the movie, directed, produced, made a ton of money, and starred and became a movie star from that movie. And I said, aha, that's what I want to do. I want to combine writing with performing and become a movie star, filmmaker like my idol Spike. So I moved out to Hollywood after graduating from Wharton with a 4.0 GPA in my entrepreneurial management major. And I said, all right, I'm going to go for this. Well, 13 years of going for the Hollywood dream and banging my head up against the brick wall of that dream had me driving a taxi for the last 6 years. I remember I went to dinner with my dad, and his best friend just walks by the table. We were at Angelo and Maxie's Steakhouse on Park Avenue South.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad's friend comes over, Danny Lembo. You might have seen him in what's the name of that? Survivor Nicaragua. He was a finalist. He was one of the top 3 finalists in Survivor Nicaragua at the age of 63. Comes over, it's while my dad's still alive, and he looks at me and my dad, and he goes, the Wharton taxi driver is here.
It's the introduction. Not only did your dad not want, but you didn't want. I mean, and I want to just stop here because none of us get out of life unscarred. And this is, I mean, so whenever you have a down moment, we have all had that. I mean, I can tell you about my dishwasher. Your taxi driver is starting to look pretty good, but we'll go with your story here. So we're there with your dad, his buddy, and obviously something happened.
So while I was driving the taxi, I got introduced to the concept of raw nutrition. I had injured my knees, and my chiropractor suggested that I try to heal my body with raw nutrition. Hands me a book. I flip through the book. I get into raw primal diet, healed my knees. The problem is that the main elements of the raw primal diet are raw meat, raw milk, raw honey, and raw butter. And there was no raw butter. I call up the chiropractor, hey, buddy, what are we supposed to do? There's no raw butter. He goes, do the best you can. We can substitute coconut butter. We can substitute nut butter. I'm like, but that's not butter. He goes, we do the best we can, man. I'm like, all right, fine. Well, my girlfriend is like, we need the butter. We need the butter. And there's nothing as powerful as a motivator as a persuasive goddess girlfriend. So I went on a one-man hunt to find this mythical butter, which did not exist in the United States of America. 153 phone calls later, I convinced a lady to make me 40 pounds of unpasteurized butter. This is the real true story. I come back to my boat where I'm living in Marina del Rey, driving the cab, on the weekends, living on a little boat, not glamorous, I assure you. No running water, no electricity, no toilet facilities on the boat. And there's a box on the back of my boat. And I'm like, what's in that box? And sure enough, it's 40 pounds of butter. So I call up the chiropractor. I say, Big Stu, guess what? He goes, what? I go, I got 40 pounds of raw butter on my boat right now. He goes, give me some. Bring me one right now. So I bring over a pound of the butter. He sticks his finger in it. Yep, that's raw butter, all right. How does he know what raw butter tastes like? I go, what am I going to do with the other 39 pounds, Big Stu? He goes, well, you could call my friend who distributes the raw milk. Maybe he could be interested. He became my first customer. My first chef client was a guy named Charlie Trotter. You might have heard of him.
I flew with him in first class recently. We had a long conversation. If I'd known, we'd talk about the butter.
Well, he became my client. He remained my client for 12 years until he closed his restaurant in Chicago. And that's how the 5-Star Butter Company was born. But so now we go through a little bit more.
Actually, I was thinking it was I'm going Charlie Palmer, not Trotter. So I got mixed up.
Palmer's a client too.
Okay.
So he's a client at Oriole and Charlie Palmer Steakhouse in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Great restaurants. So now I start making money. I meet an amazing woman. She encourages me to get into real estate. She encourages me, all this stuff happens. And see, the way I got out of taxi driving was I got into personal development work. And I walked on fire with Tony Robbins. I got Toltec wisdom from Don Miguel Ruiz. I did everything, including men's power circles and ceremonies. And So now we go through the 2000s, and I was building houses and getting quite fat and happy, obese really. And in 2008, when the world starts melting down, I'm at a men's self-help campfire, and the shaman on the other side of the campfire points at me through the yellow and orange crackling flames, and he says, "You don't know it yet, but you're already dead." And I said, "What are you talking about, man? I'm the most successful guy on this team. 8 years ago, I was driving a cab. Now I'm a millionaire. I was living in a little boat. Now I'm living in a mansion. What are you talking about?" He goes, "You're already dead. You just don't know it." And I didn't know what he was talking about because I thought everything was good, but I couldn't stop thinking about what he said. And I'd wake up in the middle of the night from a sound sleep, mumbling to myself, "I'm already dead. I'm already dead. What does he mean?" And it came to be New Year's Day of 2009. And I woke up, pulled out a pen and a pad of paper to write down my goals for the year. And I was inspired by what the shaman said. And I asked myself a question that changed everything. And the question was, if this was going to be the last year of your life, what would you want to accomplish? And I hadn't written a word. Like, one of the things that changed for me when I got out of taxi driving was I swore an oath that I was going to stop writing, because basically writing had put me behind the wheel of a cab. And I said, it's not worth it. But I'm still a writer. So that year I wrote down the lessons that I learned that helped me to become a successful businessman once I decided to become that instead of trying to become a screenwriter. And that book went on to become the book called What They Teach You at the Wharton Business School. And life was great. I mean, I lived as if it was going to be the last year of my life. And I brought my men's team along on this journey. We all had a great time. And comes the end of the year, and I had one problem. And the problem was I sold a grand total of 8 copies of What They Teach You at the Wharton Business School through Amazon.com and CreateSpace. And it was like, how is this possible? How is it that I can have the secrets of the same business school that Donald Trump went and nobody's buying it? So I spoke to...
So let me stop. This is a mistake that a lot of us make as entrepreneurs. Is what we do is we think if we share what people need, we produce what they need, not what they want. I mean, and the reason I'm bringing this up, I've done this many times, and we don't create the awareness around it so they want it. It's just what they need. Nothing happens, or very little. I mean, we only have so many friends that will buy our stuff here. So how did you get from, just several sales, which cab driving starts looking good again?
Yeah, exactly. Well, so I talked to Mark Victor Hansen, and he said...
Oh, and I want to stop you here too, because one of the things you've done that I've been really impressed, and where I run into you, they are always at the top events. They're usually the most expensive, the most successful coaches, gurus, and so on. So one of the things that you do, if you're not having it work, go hang out with somebody who's actually doing it and knocking it out of the park. So say who he is, though, too, because not everybody knows him.
He's one of the 2 owners of Chicken Soup for the Soul series, the most successful book franchise in the world in the history of publishing. They've sold more books than anybody except God, literally. And he said that when they were trying to get their book off the ground, they did media every day. They committed to that. So I did some radio, spent some money on radio, little bit of effectiveness. And then I got up some courage. And I said to a publicist in New York, I called her up. I said, "Hey, get me on the Today Show so I can promote this book about what I learned at the Wharton Business School. I don't care what it costs." And when she just burst into laughter. She said, "Clint, that's hysterical. You're a middle-aged guy nobody's ever heard of. You got a self-published book nobody's ever bought, no TV experience. Why would they put you on the Today Show? You got to start local. It's never going to happen otherwise." And I said, "Okay, well, how about NBC New York? I'm a native New Yorker. The native son done good. Get me on NBC New York's morning show so I can promote this book." And when she stopped laughing the second time, she said, "Clint, I think I have you figured out. You're not really a business author. You're a comedian, because that's the second hysterically funny thing you've said to me in 30 seconds. You're a middle-aged guy nobody's ever heard of, self-published book nobody's ever bought, no TV experience, not famous. Why would they put you on the #1 show in the #1 market in America? It's not going to happen. You got to start in little cities, local." I said, "Even though I'm not from there?" She goes, "Yeah, local." I said, "Well, you can't do New York City. How about Salt Lake City?" She said, "Oh, that I can do." and it'll only cost you $1,500 for Salt Lake City or any city outside of the top 10 markets. I said, okay, yeah, go ahead. Let's see you do it. A couple days later, I get an email from this publicist, and it says, congratulations, you're booked on TV in Salt Lake City. And I'm sitting there looking at this email, and I'm thinking to myself, why would they put me on TV in Salt Lake City? I'm a middle-aged guy nobody's ever heard of. I got a self-published book nobody's ever bought, no TV experience. Are they really going to put me on? And they did. And I went there to show them how awesome I was going to be. And I sucked. And it was really a wake-up call for me. So I called the publicist back.
Well, let me just stop, because most people at this point are beaten down enough, Clint, that they'll go drive the cab or find something else to do. And this is, I haven't met anybody, to my knowledge, that was good the first time on TV. I mean, maybe you have.
Or at anything.
Yeah, I mean, let's go. Okay, let's make it a little broader on anything. So, okay, you've now decided that, okay, there's opportunity for fine-tuning.
In for a penny, in for a pound. I said, hey, get me some more of these. How many more you want? 3 more. I spent $6,000 on my first 4 appearances, and they all sucked. And I said to my wife, honey, if I'm ever, who was impressed was my cleaning lady. She said, oh, my boss is on TV. And I'm looking at these appearances, and I'm like, man, I'm really not good. And I said to my wife, honey, if I'm ever going to get on the Today Show, I need to get a lot better on TV. And she goes, uh-huh. And I said, well, I'm going to call up the publicist and get some more. And she goes, whoa. Do you have to keep paying this lady? Why don't you try booking yourself on these shows? And I thought, can I do that? Who am I? I'm just a middle-aged guy that nobody's ever heard of. I got a couple of TV appearances. Can I call a TV news producer? How do you do this? And it took me a couple of months to figure it out. But luckily, I'm a determined guy, and I was willing to try. And I'm also cheap. Even though
persistency and thriftiness is very important for an entrepreneur. I mean, there's no question about that at all.
It's very interesting. It seems to me like the best investment is the most expensive, or do it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Those are the two. We go to the high-end mastermind meetings because the best investment is always the expensive option. Or you could do it yourself for free. Those are your choices. And at that point, I really wanted to figure out, how do I do this for free? I had a feeling I was going to need a lot more experience. My first year, I booked myself on 7 appearances. The second year, I booked 20 appearances. And my 32nd television appearance was on NBC New York, and I booked it off of an email that I sent to a producer cold. Never spoke to her, still have never spoken to her. And then my 57th television appearance, proving my theory that you can work your way up from small markets to medium markets to the big markets to even the biggest shows. My 57th television appearance was on the Today Show, and they called me and asked me to be on the show. So that's exactly how it all went down. Along the way, people started asking me, hey, Clint, how are you doing this? How are you getting on all these TV shows? People wanted it. And I put together a little training program, and it was called New TV Power. It's a home study kit. And from there, I built a online group coaching model. And now I really had to get gutsy, because I was charging $1,000 for the group study, for the home study, $2,000 for the group coaching. And I heard that high-end coaching programs were really the way to go. But I was really scared to charge $5,000. What if nobody wanted to pay? Well, in my first $5,000 training program, I had Lisa Sasevich there. She's a huge person. I had a full room at $5,000 a head, 12 people who paid. And that's been the best thing I've ever done.
Okay,
Why?
let's stop there for a second, because one of the things that, as your fellow entrepreneur, I mean, it's very hard to figure out how you can add the most value. And it's through persistency. What I always like working with is people that have proved it out themselves. And I mean, really taking a commodity like butter, and we'll show later your website there, you built in a really great business working with chefs, taking a extreme commodity, books, and getting a very successful launch of that. And then taking it, and now that you've done it, to show others how to do it. I mean, that was a huge breakthrough, Clint. I mean, you've done a great job with that.
Thank you. It was funny. What my original concept was, I'll make these training videos, and I'll I'll use my appearances on TV where I'm promoting all my different books and products, and I'll use those in the training and thereby promote all my books and products in my training program. Like, the goal wasn't to build a successful training program. The goal was to promote all my books and butter company. And it just so happened that the training program is awesome. And it's been hugely successful over the last 2 years. We've had 2.5 years. We've had more than 200 students come through, and they've booked themselves using my methodology, using my mathematical formula for getting on TV. They've booked themselves on more than 1,355 television interviews on ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, and CW news and talk shows produced by the networks themselves. I have nothing to do with these shows. These are real shows on real TV stations, playing at real time slots during the day, and not in the middle of the night, not in the middle of nowhere. And it's been really, really successful and really, really gratifying. And why? Because of adding the most value to clients by charging a lot of money, by putting all my relationships on the line. Not only did I call in my relationships with my highest clients and contacts in the information industry and in the seminar industry, like Lisa Sasevich, but I also called in my highest contacts in TV. I recruited producers from all across America whose shows I had been on and wanted to go back on, and got them to show up. I said, hey, if you show up for an hour on a Saturday or a Sunday, I'll put 12 guests in front of you that are going to knock your socks off. So I made a big promise to the producers, and I promised my students that if they paid me $5,000, I would guarantee them that they would get booked on at least 2 shows, or else I would give them their money back plus $500.
Now, I want to stop here. So, I mean, obviously a really compelling offer and bringing all kinds of resources to bear. That, I mean, talking about the delivering a great client experience, that's what we're looking to do. And that's really what you've done. You kind of walked the talk, you proved the concept, you brought in people, scaled it up, and really nailed it. And the reason why I bring it up is I look at this and I go, okay, some of us, really don't watch a lot of TV, or at least nobody says they watch TV. But if you're watching TV, very seldom does that cause you to, call and follow up with the person. What both Clint and I agree, and this is to me, a big separation. If we go to the very first start, I did the introduction where I talked about authority and celebrity. You already have the expertise. You're not going to be listening to this unless you've got something you can do really well. But you don't have the celebrity yet. So by having these type of interviews, and it's never been easier to get on a low code. I'm going to ask you to dive a little deeper, Clinton, on how you do it. But it's never been easier to get on the local, but by getting a few videos of this, the credibility you have on your website, you can repurpose this stuff. This is pretty amazing. I mean, you've had the privilege of working with an awful lot of successful people, Clinton, helping them on this. How are they using it?
All right. Well, first of all, this is a screenshot that one of my clients sent me. And the caption on this local news station is "Americans watching more TV than ever." And this is recent.
Well, then somebody's lying to me, because all my friends say they don't watch TV.
Now, this may be the truth, or look, I don't know what's the truth.
No. I mean, there are so many channels. My guess is there's a lot of TV going on right now.
It's not important who sees you at 7:30 a.m. in North Dakota when you're on the little station there. That's not important. What's important is what do you do with it. So, for example, I use that as a case in point because Will Ferrell went on and hosted a newscast in North Dakota to promote Anchorman 2, the movie. And I don't know where you were when you heard about that, but I was in Mexico on vacation at the St. Regis in Punta Mita, and I read about it on my USA Today app. And I did a little search on Google, Will Ferrell, North Dakota, and pages and pages and pages of listings come up from media sources all around the world. Time Magazine, The Guardian, an English newspaper, The Washington Post, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so, as our mentor, Joe Polish, says, it's not the marketing that you do, it's how you market the marketing, how you advertise the advertising. So you go on these shows in little stations, and then that's called a marketing video. When you're all done with it, that video clip that you get from the TV stations is a marketing video that you repurpose and redistribute and redeploy in all of your channels, including social media, to help you stand out. Because if you think just doing regular social media is helping you stand out, well, everybody else is doing just regular social media. What are you doing different in your social media that's going to make you cut through the clutter? And for me and my clients, we're using local TV news and talk show interviews as our video marketing assets in social media and through email, on websites, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So what does this do for you? Well, Lisa Sasevich, who I mentioned, she says that these clips, which she then recut into a sizzle reel, which she uses to introduce her, instead of having a lame introduction from some meeting planner or a person assigned to you at a breakout session. Our next speaker is Clint Arthur. He's from guaranteedcelebrity.com. That's what you normally get. But instead of that, if you cut a sizzle reel, then you get videos of anchor people. Like for me on my sizzle reel, I have Brooke Shields, when she interviewed me on the Today Show as part of my sizzle reel, positioning me, creating the frame that I'm somebody special. Now, do you have to be Tom Cruise in order to be perceived as a celebrity? Not if you got these videos. All we're trying to do is differentiate you from the other guy who's selling butter, or the other guy who is a financial planner or a financial advisor. How do you get a leg up on the competition? Well, I'm telling you today that less people than ever are thinking about TV news and talk show interviews, because TV is not the flavor of the month. Social media is the flavor of the month. So that's why I say, don't run with the herd. The people who run with the herd are the ones who get slaughtered when the herd goes into the corral. Run the opposite way of the herd, which is do what no one is doing. Go on TV and start building your celebrity, working your way up from Salt Lake City to medium-sized stations like Phoenix, Arizona, and then to the biggest ones in the biggest markets, and then all the way up to the Today Show in the correct logical progression, working your way up the ladder. And you can do it today easier, faster, and less expensively than ever.
I did it, Clint, and we talked about this earlier, where I did it back in a time when it was not, it wasn't quite as easy, although it's not, I don't want to make it, easy. It takes some work to lay this stuff out. But I did it and did kind of going around the country when I did my first book, and I ended up selling my business, and that, it changed my life doing this. I got on all the national shows as well as the local, and just people all of a sudden think you are a celebrity. And because of that repositions you. But I want to go to a segment here. Okay, you're a high energy kind of guy. Tell me what you're passionate about going forward. What's getting you excited now?
What I'm really excited about is Celebrity Launchpad. Celebrity Launchpad is where I teach 12 high-level entrepreneurs, authors, speakers, coaches, financial advisors, doctors, how to be better than any publicist there is, using my mathematical formula for getting on TV. And I guarantee that they're going to get booked on TV. It helps me to maintain good relationships with my producer friends because I'm feeding them guests. My clients love me. My clients, I'm giving them the keys to the celebrity kingdom, which previously everyone thought was just magic or mysteriously appeared for people. I'm saying, no. It's a formula. It's science. Just do this, and that, and you're going to get on TV. They can't resist. And using this methodology, if you apply yourself, I've had students come out of Celebrity Launchpad, and one woman did 18 appearances in 2 months and a week, and her 19th appearance was within 3 months of leaving Celebrity Launchpad on the Today Show. And that's a pretty rapid ascension. I had another client who's a nutritionist. It took her 1 year of traveling around the country, going to local shows before she appeared on Dr. Oz, which is the Holy Grail. Another client ended up on CNN 2 months after Celebrity Launchpad.
I want you to help the audience, whether you're on video or you're on an audio podcast with us. I mean, visualize in your own mind if you were going through and you had just done all these shows and the credibility you have, if you're selling supplements, nutrition, you have a back end, because it's very important to have a back end as you're doing this stuff, because nobody makes money, much money off the TV appearance itself. Where it is you're supplementing your business. But if you really creating awareness of your business and you can leverage it, it can be huge. It can change your life. And that's why I wanted to have Clint, you join us. Let me go to one. The next
I want to take issue with what you said, and that people.
No, I thought we agreed on everything.
Hold on a second. I agree that it's smart to have a back end, and you'll probably make more money off the back end than the average person will make off of a TV appearance. However, one of my doctor clients sent out a link to his first appearance on ABC Tucson, Arizona, and one of his friends who was a doctor referred him 200 new patients into his online alcohol coaching program at $50 a piece per month. That's $120,000.
Yeah. So I'm going to go and say, though, his back end was that service. You got to have some kind of experience that you can deliver after, not just sell books or that type of thing.
Okay. And then, however, this is a process that delivers money to you in different ways. Like Mike Koenig's, he owns trafficgeyser.com, and he came through Celebrity Launchpad. He did a live stream sales webcast the day before he came to Celebrity Launchpad. He did a day of training with me at Celebrity Launchpad and then skipped a day because he had a live stream scheduled for the Friday. He tripled his sales results from Wednesday to Friday based on what he learned in my training about how to speak and perform on camera.
Well, and that's, and I know Mike well, and he's a very talented guy, so he's got a lot of video experience, and live stream is doing kind of what Clint and I are doing now, but broadcasting it over the internet, so it's really a channel. So the more you can get good at this, video, credibility, these things are so critical. Let me go, because I want to go to the next segment, which is the book of the day. And Clint, you wrote a book, and I'm going to put it up on the screen here for you a second. I wanted to break through your upper limits on TV. So not only are we talking about today, you've done it, you showed other people to do it, you wrote the book. Tell us a little bit about the book.
I believe that TV is not only the best thing you can do for your career, it's also the best thing you can do for your personal self. I believe that TV is a personal, professional, even a spiritual transformation experience. Let me explain. When you go on TV, I've seen people over and over and over again. They lose weight. They change their hairstyles. They get different clothes that fit them better. They become better speakers. They have more charisma, more self-confidence. They even become better looking. Now, if that's not personal transformation, I don't know what is. And that's what's happening for my clients and students every day. And when you're out there on TV every day, delivering your unique message to the world, that is spiritual alignment. So that's what breaking through your upper limits is really all about. Going to higher levels of success, fulfillment, and development in every area of your life.
Yeah, and I love the idea that each of us is capable of so much more than we think we can do. And this is a great way of doing it. Let me go to the next segment. And this is all about resources. And I want to go, I'm going to put up on your screen, on the viewer screen, the Celebrity Launchpad. And you've got a website, it's guaranteedcelebrity.com. You can check out the book on Amazon. If you want to learn more about the program, what's on this website?
Okay, so every video I publish on YouTube gets put up on the blog. So I make a lot of really great videos. You probably want to go and check out the blog and subscribe to the blog for those videos. But directly to the point, we have our money back plus $500 guarantee published on the website for everybody to see. We also have the schedule of where and when the events are going to be taking place. There's 75 or 80 video testimonials of satisfied clients. And most importantly is the application, because I am like the first line of defense for my friends who are TV producers at ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox. we don't want any crazies showing up in the studios at my friend's TV stations. So I pre-screen all the applicants. If you want to come to Celebrity Launchpad, fill out the application. And if I feel that it would be appropriate, we'll have a free strategy session, you and I, where we'll talk about what are your goals and what do you hope to accomplish with television. And if I think that you're right for the program and the program is right for you, then I'll invite you to enroll in the program. But everything is done via application there.
That's great. Let me do the key take for fellow entrepreneurs here. And what I'm really seeing, I look at 3 key elements. Number 1 is the power of celebrity. As fellow entrepreneurs, I'll tell you, I've been one of those frustrated entrepreneurs that I thought I was doing a great job in my financial services side, and nobody knew who I was. And I've used the local TV and also had the privilege of doing some national stuff. And all of a sudden, even my family thought I was impressive. The house cleaner, I'll agree, mine did too, think I was really good. But more importantly, the existing clients, the future clients, and all those strategic relationships that you can build. So that was number 1, the power of celebrity. And I want to, whether you're working with Clint or someone else, this is something for you to consider. Second is the availability of media outlets. They're desperate for content. So if you can work with somebody to package yourself up, most of us think we don't have a good story. Okay. Clint shared his personal story. Everybody's got a personal story. Nobody got out of life unscarred. You've been working with someone. It's hard to, where most of us think of ourselves as boring, mundane. But when we get together with somebody who knows how to extract that, very, very powerful. And then the biggest thing about this is the leverageability. And what I mean by that is you can deploy this content in so many different ways that it really takes off. So Clint, I want to thank you. Sharing these insights has been invaluable for everyone. You're out there making a difference.
Thank you. It's really a great privilege because I have a mission, and this whole Guaranteed Celebrity experience has been enabling me to fulfill my mission of changing the world one messenger at a time. And I want to give one more pointer. We pre-screen every applicant who wants to apply for Celebrity Launchpad with our application on the website. And one of the questions that I ask on the application is, Celebrity Launchpad is $10,000. We started at $5,000, but when we got really successful and now we're selling out our programs in advance, it's now $10,000. So the question is, Celebrity Launchpad is $10,000. Are you able to make this investment today without putting your family under stress or strain? And 95% of the people who answer that question, yes, end up enrolling in Celebrity Launchpad. And this is a great lesson for anybody who pre-screens clients because it saves a lot of time. Hey, if they're not willing to invest the money, then why have the conversation? They need to know how much is it going to be and that they're expected to pull out their credit card today if they want to have a conversation with you. It's a great, great technique, and I really recommend it to anybody. And it's really helped me to fulfill my mission of changing the world one messenger at a time.
These have been great insights, and I want everybody that's watching this at AES Nation, remember you can always go back to our website or our blog and get all the links, the show notes, the transcript of this, because this has been so good. Remember your clients, your future clients, and all those strategic partners and all these big opportunities, they're waiting for you. Let's go make it happen. Wish you the best of success.
And I'm looking forward to seeing you on television.
Okay, we're going to be there, Clint.